Have you ever stared at a stock and kicked yourself for not buying at the perfect moment? What if I told you the signs were screaming to buy this stock in October of 2020? Yes, technical indicators were crystal clear, and not just one, many. And MACD, it played a critical role in making a case for buying this stock, flashing a strong buy sign you couldn't miss. Stick around to the end of this video where I have packed in fully loaded charts with dates, price points, MACD levels and other key indicators. These are going to be super helpful in your future trades. So let's jump in. If you are looking for a reliable way to confirm a change in trend, either in your stock or the market in general, MACD is your indicator. In this video, we will break down how it works, why traders love it, and how you can start using it today to make smarter trading decisions. What is MACD? MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence. It's both a trend and momentum indicator, built from two exponential moving averages, typically the 12 period and the 26 period. When those EMAs converge or diverge, the MACD line reflects that change. A separate line, a 9-period moving average of the MACD, helps confirm change in momentum. And finally, the histogram shows the distance between these two lines, giving you a visual cue on whether momentum is building or fading. Around the MACD and signal lines, sometimes above and sometimes below, you will find the histogram, a simple but powerful visual tool. The histogram represents the distance between the MACD line and the signal line. When the MACD line is above the signal line, this shows bullish momentum, upward price movement. When the MACD line drops below the signal line, it signals bearish momentum or downward pressure. The height of the bars tells you how strong the momentum is. As the MACD and signal lines move closer together, the bars get shorter. That can be an early cue that the trend is weakening. And when they move further apart, the bars stretch out, confirming momentum is growing. Traders often watch for these shifts to time entries and exits with more confidence. So how do we actually use MACD? One way is to look for crossovers between the MACD line and the signal line. When MACD line goes above the signal line, it's a bullish sign. It means prices might go up. When MACD line falls below the signal line, it's a bearish sign. It means that prices might fall. Another way to use MACD is by using divergence, bullish divergence and bearish divergence. Bullish divergence occurs when price makes a new low, but MACD line does not. And bearish divergence occurs when prices make a new high, but MACD line doesn't. Let me explain these by using real examples. Coming back to the weekly chart of Bharat Electronics, let's review how MACD, along with other technical indicators and developments, helped identify a strong buying opportunity. So we are looking at the daily chart of Bharat Electronics. Coming back to the chart, let's add MACD indicator. So we'll go to the top right corner. We can either search for MACD here or we can scroll down and find MACD here. Now these are the default settings that Yahoo Finance offers. We'll accept them. And now we can see that at the bottom we have this area where MACD indicators are visible. The black line is the MACD line and the red line is the signal line. And we have the histogram, and here we can see the settings for MACD, and on the right side you will see the values of MACD line, signal line, and the difference between the two as I move to different dates. So now that we have added MACD, now let's go back to the COVID times, year 2020. So we are now looking at the daily chart for Bharat Electronics from year 2020. And those were COVID times, and we had a sharp correction in the early part of 2020. And as markets recovered, so did Bharat Electronics. And as you can see, Bharat Electronics made a low point of 1867. These are post-split values, so they are lower than what you had probably seen in those years, if you still have the charts from those years. So 24th March 2020, lowest point was 1867 post-split, and then it also recovered along with the rest of the market and almost doubled. So on 14th of August, it went as high as 39.48. And in the process, it regained its 200-day moving average, which is very important. So in this chart, I'm using 4 moving averages. Just like I mentioned in my video on moving averages, I use a 10-day simple moving average, which is this maroon color line. I have this 21-day exponential moving average, which is this green line. And I have this 50-day simple moving average, red line, and 200-day moving average, black line. So Bharat Electronics regained 200-day moving average, and then it started building a base. So now let's see the magic of MACD. So now I want to draw your attention to this phase of 2020. So from July, when it regained its 200-day moving average, to October and early November. So BAL regained its 200-day moving average and then started consolidating. And then on this day, 24th of September, it made a low point of 29.88. You can see this value in this top left corner. And you can see MACD value in the bottom left corner. So on this day, 24th September, low point was 29.88 and MACD line was minus 1.01. Now, if you move back to October 29th, and that's the day it made a point lower than this day, 24th September. So notice that on October 29th, it made a new low, lower than September 24th. And you can see in the top left corner, the low point was 28.78. But if you look at the bottom left side, the MACD line was minus 0.86, which is higher than MACD line on 24th September. So this is a classic case of MACD bullish divergence. Price makes a new low, but MACD line does not. So this is the marked up chart for bullish divergence, and it has all the details that I've talked about. September 24th area, low point of 29.88, MACD of minus 1.01. Compare this with October 29 values. Low point was 28.78, lower than September 24th low point, but MACD is not lower than September 24th. So price goes low, MACD doesn't. So that's a good example of a bullish divergence. And just like I mentioned in my video for RSI, we don't use RSI or MACD all by themselves. We combine it with other indicators like moving averages. So in this case, we have it's a classic case of a leading stock recovering from a bear market, regaining its 200-day moving average, and then consolidating and finding support at a long-term moving average, which is 200-day moving average. And in technical analysis, when a line of resistance is successfully breached, it becomes a line of support. So we have a bunch of technical developments putting together, making a wonderful case of buying Bharat Electronics in October. Now you can use this chart as a reference, use it in your future research. You can take a screenshot if you like. And this is the weekly chart for Bharat Electronics. You can also take a screenshot if you like. This is for your reference. Now, similarly, we'll see an example of bearish divergence using Tata Motors as an example. So this is the daily chart for Tata Motors from last year. And there are two dates that I want to highlight: February 8th and August 1st. So bearish divergence happens when price makes a new high, but MACD line does not. So if you notice on February 9th, high point was just 937.70 and MACD line was 42.38. Now compare that with August 1st. High point is 1176. Compare that with 939.70. It's like almost 230 points above February high point. But MACD line is not making new high. MACD line was 42.38 on February 8th. On August 1st, it's 41.84. So this is a classic case of bearish divergence. Price goes up, but MACD line does not. Again, this chart is for your reference. Feel free to take a screenshot and use it in your research in future. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.